Arguably one of the most difficult things to do in this TCG is comping your cards. Trying to comp your Dragon Ball, Fusion World, and Master cards is like trying to sleep with your wife when she's upset. It's not going to work out. What's the point? But today, RamFam's going to help you out. You're going to be able to get through that anger. You'll be able to get right into that sack. This sack is one I'm going to help you, though. This is the sack of comping. And when it comes to comping, I can't tell you how many avenues there are, how many roads, how many paths, how many apps, how many websites, how many locations. Well, I like using this. Well, I prefer this. I want to help set the story straight. Where are we going, Ram? You lead, I'll follow. All right. What I got here today for you, because I'm a nice guy, remember that. I got 5 examples of places that you can go to comp your cards. And you'll see all of the ifs and buts, the pros, the cons to it. And I'm going to give you my recommendation. And we're going to compare all of these 5 locations with the same exact card each and every single time. And we're going to look at how staggeringly different these comps are. This is just 2 cards. I chose 1 card for Fusion World and 1 card for Masters. And you'd be surprised to see how much of a difference there is. So when it comes to comping your cards, though there's no one true north, I will give you the recipe for success. I'm going to give you the tools that you need, something tangible. RamFam, why should I follow you? Because I'm not on here trying to sell you something. I'm here to help you. Because again, I'm a nice guy. And the point of this is to give you the tool, something tangible, that you can go to a show, you can be there as a vendor, you could be negotiating online. When you're comping and buying and selling, you have something that you can say, hey, look at this. That's me. So let's just jump right in. Of course, I chose Sleepy Gohan, an amazing card. I have yet to find one that I like. Obviously, I can buy a ton of them right here on TCG, but the reason why I don't buy high value cards on TCG is for a different video. Now, TCG arguably is the preferred standard for market prices. We've shared comps here, we've shared trends, we've shared historical data, and a lot of other channels, Dragon Ball and not, will utilize TCG as a great frame of reference. Now, it is not with its own plot holes, with its own issues. It does need to go to therapy, and it's got a lot of childhood trauma it needs to address. But even through all of that, just like a broken significant other, there could be some fun times that lie ahead. So, for my example, and I have this very last doc here, the bottom left, or mid left, has all the comps. Now, if I look at this one, what's interesting is it always starts with one example. Now, this is what we would refer to as the lowest listed. RamFam, what does lowest listed mean? That's a great question, good-looking guy. Lowest listed is exactly what it sounds like. It is the lowest amount that is available, considering shipping or not. So even though someone else may include free shipping, the total cost of this particular one, shout out to Back Shack, 504 sales, and it's like maybe only one mistake. The total here, $280 plus 70 cents, plus the additional $4.99 is less than, even included the free shipping, for $2.95 from Joe's. So lowest listed, does that mean it's comps? Not necessarily. I have a couple of arguments. You probably have a couple of comments. You're probably going to be grilling me in the chat. I don't really care because you're a good engagement. But in either case, 280 is lowest listed. If we scroll down to the View More Data tab, and we click this, this is going to give us the days, the condition, which is a very important note. All of these, I am assuming, is near mint. the condition, the quantity that was sold, but more importantly, the prices in which they were sold. Now, this is something that you would often see with a card just like this. It comes out of the gate fairly strong, dips quite a little bit, and then eventually kind of levels out to some pretty consistent prices. This one's been going down a little bit, but fairly consistent. I think this is a $300 card, for sure. Lowest listed, I can buy one of them for $280. Now, if we continue to look, $285, $295, I think this is a pretty fair deal. But when it comes to comps, what would I personally say the comps are for this particular card? I would say $280, even though there were sales that were higher. If someone came to my booth, someone DM'd me, said, Ramfam, I got this Sleepy Gohan. I hear you talking about it. I got the cleanest one, guaranteed black label. But I'm comping it at $305. Why? Because of the last 5 sales, those were the 2 highest ones. Well, I got a question. If you're comping it at $305, why would I buy that when I can just get one for $280? Or Ramfam, you're going to charge me 70%, 80%. Yeah, I could. And I might come out on top in that one. But that's where some of this kind of isn't. Remember, there's no right, straight answer, right? It's a little wobbly. It's a little bit on both sides. Me personally, I would try to give this a full comp of $280. I can make an argument for $285 to $290. But if it's significantly different, why would I, even if I comp that higher number, I could just buy it cheaper. I could probably find this guy on Instagram right now. In fact, for this exact card, I recommended that to someone. They DM'd them and bought all 3 copies they had out there, $300, and they ended up getting for $280 each. And that was in the hype. I can just go off platform. So for me personally, I would call this ballpark $280. That's where I would comp it if I'm looking purely on TCG. You can agree, you can disagree. Start your own YouTube channel and give your opinion out there, and then maybe I'll listen to it. But until then, you're listening to mine. Price charting. I can't tell you how many times people have come to me and said, I comped this out myself. I use price charting. My first question to them is, have you ever sold video games? In another life, I worked very close to a marketplace, a live marketplace. And in that marketplace, I was tasked to work with all of the video game community. Graded, loose, CIB, sealed. I learned so much about it. It's a whole nother universe. And when I learned about that universe, their North Star was price charting. Now, they obviously have other things in here, action figures, trading cards, and whatnot. But I've never seen the come out anywhere near where it needs to be. So if I look up the same Sleepy Gohan, ungraded, this gives me a comp of 352. Now, it could also give you some grades. So for some older Pokemon, you can find some grades in here as well. And some people do like to use price charting for slabs. I'm talking about raw, but that's a whole nother universe. Now you got alt and cart ladder. And so $352 is what this comp's at. Now, if I look at all of the sales, and this does pull presumably from TCG and eBay, $296, $335, $290. In the last 3 sales alone, we weren't really knocking towards that number. Am I going to comp it? Someone comes to my booth and says, price charting says that comps are $352, Ram. We're fist fighting right there. It's on the spot. Are you kidding me? No way. That's not a comp. That's an inflated number from an outdated system. Look at this. It looks like AOL. It looks like LimeWire has been putting this thing together. This thing's ridiculous. 352 comp. Doesn't make a lot of sense, does it? One of the most popular ones. I buy collections. Facebook Marketplace. You see this beautiful mug there. Maybe you sold me something. I just bought like 8 collections from laundry list of people. And every single one of them, every one of them had a collector. Now, I told them all the same thing. Now I got two things I got to do. I got to comp your cards, and then I got to tell you why your method was wrong. And it's two separate battles I got to go through. Collector's really good for organization. You want to see what your cards you got. You want to pop them in there. Maybe you can send somebody a link so then they can comp it where they feel comfortable. I would never be using these comps on collector. $320 for $40 less than what this is comping. I can get it on TCGPlayer right now. Same photo, because I'm not looking at the actual card. See that giant word sample? So I'm not getting anything out of that. Now they do have some shops here. Look at this. They even call it out right here. 280, view all your listings. But they're saying this is worth, and who knows how long ago, even more, 320. No way. I don't see it happening, but it is good to know that you can organize your cards with Collector. Good for you. Congratulations. I ain't competent with that. Ain't no way. That's too inflated for me. eBay sold. I think this is also a pretty damn strong staple to comp your cards. Like TCG, it's got its own trauma. It's got its own manipulation. It's got its own... Its daddy beat them, and it ain't good. Now, one thing I'll call out about this is that while eBay is arguably the absolute mecca, you got Gary Vee telling people for years you can comp anything on eBay. And that is not incorrect entirely. But it is very easy to manipulate on eBay. It's very easy to catch it on eBay. More important, eBay is not as transparent as you and I would like them to be. Case in point, in auctions, at least initially, you can find someone winning an auction and never paying or delaying the payment, depending on how that individual seller has their policy set up. Mine, for instance, after 4 business days, I think that was the minimum, it automatically cancels, and then I block it. But some of these bigger consignments, Ryan's Crap House and such, and others, it might be a little bit longer. Some places don't even have policies, and it's just to sit there 4, 5, 6 days, and then you, the seller, may have to manually cancel. Now, what happens to that listing? From the untrained eye, from the outside looking in, that looks like a real comp. I'm willing to bet that if some sociopath out there really wanted to, you could look at the correlation of arguably the biggest TCG convention there is, Collecticon, and look at recent comps, and you can probably see the highest number of inflated auctions, unpaid auctions, anything of the sort with those two. Right before a big weekend in Vegas, in Miami, in Texas, in whatever. You're telling me there's not one person out there going into an auction of a card that they want to be able to buy or sell or whatever, and they're not manipulating this, inflating the number? Now they go to the table. Look, there's 2, 3 recent auctions that ended yesterday. I got the card right here. These ended at $5,000. Maybe it's a $4,000 card. I'll give it to you for $4,500 because I'm a nice guy. You're telling me that doesn't happen? Because it does. Am I saying that's what's happening here? No. That's one big way that you can see somebody manipulating that. The other side of this is they no longer show you who's going to be taking a best offer. Now, we have a Band-Aid for that. We got Card Ladder. They'll show me. They'll tell Daddy what he needs to know. But again, for the average person, they might not know that. They might look at this and say, wow, maybe this guy took the best. I don't know. Maybe they went to it. They have a little slash in there, but you don't know how much they got up. It could have been $2, could have been 4%, 5%, could have been $50, could have been $500. You don't know how much of a dip it took. So do you really have that right comp? If all you know is that they took a best offer, I listed it for $1,000. There's a slash. There's a best offer. It could have been a $100 card that they just sold that for. In this case, I got a couple of auctions. These look roughly around what I'm thinking: 250, 296, 335 last couple of days. If I look at Card Ladder, I can still find those exact cards: 250, 296, 335. I like Card Ladder because I can go around, especially for slabs, but I can go a little bit deeper sometimes with or further back. 380, 416 gives me a little bit of visibility. Some of the higher comps that we seen as this card kind of steadily goes down a little bit, not too much. Now I want to talk about something that's a little bit different. A little bit of a different take. That's Sleepy Gohan. That's Fusion World. It's a big dog. Then you got the stepsister. Even though she's a little bit older, she looks a little bit better. She's just not necessarily the favorite. I'll take her out for a drink though. Super Saiyan Son, Goku, and Frieza, the miraculous conclusion. This was a great way to end Super, by the way. $148. Again, if I scroll down, I go to view data, I can see a little bit of a history, not a lot of movement on TCG, no problem. I can see where we are. Look at this, big jump. Some people think this is going to be a more expensive card. As I recall, when I looked at this comp originally, I felt as though this used to be like a $400 or $500 card. I don't know why. But I remember when I looked at it, this card was really... Dragon Ball's growing up really quick. So sometimes the raw prices are matching, you know, PSA 10s, BGS 10s, Tag 10s, and it's kind of weird. So this is one of those cards. 148. If I look at PriceCharting, 167. Not a big difference. About $20. Not a big difference. I can see here for all of my ungraded sold listings, 210, 140, 98. That's crazy. Looks like that was TCG maybe. When I look at collector, 176. Again, I'm not crazy out there. But why would I comp this at 175 plus when I got a 148 available? Even if I give you 80% comps, I'm almost still in the same ballpark. I don't know. Is it worth it? When I look at eBay solds, this is a good example of why I like Card Ladder. Check this out. Whenever you see custom services in international tracking, I'm in Florida. I'm US, baby, all day, 25-0. We look at this United Kingdom. Now it ends number 241. We look here, 220, and we look here, 158. Right? A little bit of a stagger. A little bit different than what we've been seeing. As you can tell, May 9th, May 30th, June 30th. Not moving consistently online. Not that frequent, but it's moving. When we go to Card Ladder and I look for those comps, well, I got 238 here. And if you notice the background and Surge, I come back. That's the same guy. That's the same background. 238. A little bit of a difference, right? My guess is currency. A little cross border. We scroll down and we go find Ghost Bullies 210. That's a best offer. 210, best offer. But when I'm looking at eBay, that's a Ghost Bully. That says 220. I have to click into this. And once I've clicked into it, you see that line? They hide it from me. Well, Anthony, can't I just go see the original listing and go see that was sold for 210? No. They don't tell you. So to the untrained eye, this could look like a 210. Now, are we lucky because the difference in comps here between Card Ladder that's showing for the same listing is $10? Absolutely you are. Very lucky. Because there's some instances Or you're not going to see that much of a difference. You're going to see $100 difference, a $200 difference. So when it comes to these especially new cards where you got a hyperinflated number, now it looks like it sold for $1,000. In reality, it was a best offer that was taken for $400. The next guy or the same guy can say, look, it was $1,000 that was sold for a best offer. I'm willing to bet it was $800. I'll give it to you for $750 right now. They might take that because they don't know any better. And that is not an excuse for you. Last one, 158.75. We go find that same one, 164. I'm guessing, again, currency, some cross-border stuff. So you can see we're comping a card. There's no one right place. So RamFam, all you've done for the last 20 minutes is tell me how the system is broken. No. I've taught you some things along the way. We've become better friends. We're closer. I feel closer to you. But really what we've done is kind of exposed a little bit on how too many options can really give you a lot of problems. So that Sleepy Gohan, 280 on TCG. Price charting said 350. Collector says 319. eBay says between 250 and 335. So does Card Ladder. Where would RamFam comp this card? I can make an argument between 280 and 290. And I base that off of my two workhorses. My TCGPlayer and my eBay is some of those last comps. I can make an argument. Yeah, one went low. But if lowest listed is here, am I going to make you sell me yours for less than what's the lowest listed? It's inflated. Even then, it's tough. Hey, I know everything says it's more, but I think it's less. So you have to, and then I need to take 70%. I would make an argument 280 to 290 is comps for this card. If you ask price charting, you're way off. For the dynamic duo, TCG has 148, and I picked this one specifically because TCG has this one 148, price charting just a little bit more collector. But then when you go on eBay, you got some weird spikes. RamFam, this is an easy one. This is slam dunk. This is like Son Goku from the SB manga series you talked about a little while ago. This is a home run, big guy. I can just buy it for 148 and list it and sell it for $240. Well, it doesn't sell that often. Do you know the condition that it's in under TCGPlayer? Because they say near mint. Is it near mint, though? Can you see it? Is it tangible? Is it right in front of you? So you can see how there's a lot of avenues. There's a lot of ifs and buts and thens and ohs that you're going to run into. If I had to comp this card, number one, I would honestly probably pass on it. It's a card that's going to sit there. A card that I would reference for comps, I would go off of TCG and eBay. Card Ladder, mostly if I'm being honest, but these two are like the same. Here you go. Here's a visual. These are my good guys. These are my concerns. Maybe a pink. Those are concerns. I don't want to deal with those concerns. So if I looked at this comp and I go, it's 148, and then I look on eBay, it's 240, you know what the natural person might say? Well, why don't we meet in the middle, RamFam? Oh, yeah? Okay, so you're telling me you want to comp this a difference of almost $100. So I am either going to, in scenario one, pay $50 over comp, or I'm going to comp at $50 over, or in scenario two, I'm going to comp at 50. It's difficult. It's tough. And for these ones, in this exact scenario, if I saw this Sleepy Gohan, easy, 280 to 290, I'm happy to meet you at 285. If I saw this Goku and I saw these numbers and said, what do you want to comp it at? I said, you got two options. I either will pass on this or I'm going to comp it at 150. Those are my two options. RamFam, but they've clearly sold twice above that. Yeah, in an auction one overseas. And if I look at how frequently it's sold in a raw, it's not moving that quickly. So that means I could be buying into something that's not liquid at a comp that's wild, and I might be stuck holding the bag. So it is imperative at the infancy of our TCG that you, as a collector, as a buyer, as an investor, as a flipper, as a reseller, whatever you are, every single one of us play a role in growing this TCG. From the guy going to the pre-releases playing the TCG that doesn't put on deodorant to the guy that's looking to make a quick buck. Believe it or not, you all play a role in this. And this information, especially for Dragon Ball, is critical. This isn't Pokemon where I have an established history. This isn't Pokemon where everyone's all in on everything. Dragon Ball is very finicky. So when you go through and you're comping your own card, you're looking to sell it, maybe to Ram Bam. Maybe you're looking to go to a convention, flip it because now you got a baby. Somehow you got her pregnant. You don't even know what's going on, but now you got to buy a crib. Now you have to get out of this card. That money's important to you, right? I hope we've learned something here. I believe, to summarize, TCG, eBay, and card ladders are your strongest references. From that point, if you see some staggering, you just got to have an open, honest, and transparent conversation. I'd rather pass on something that I'm not able to stand by and confirm a comp and something that a customer, a seller, a reseller, a collector, whomever is uncomfortable with as well. At the end of the day, this is meant to empower you to be able to go out there and to properly comp your stuff so that you can get the most out of it, whether you're a collector or a reseller. If you haven't already, do yourself a favor. This is not for me. This is for you. If you don't want to go off of these comps, you know what you do? Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Saturdays, 10 p.m. Eastern. You can jump onto that whatnot. It's right below. It's the same exact name. Saying CollX TCG. I dollar start everything. You don't like these comps? You make the comps. Maybe you pay lower. Maybe you pay higher. It's your choice. I'm just giving you the cards. And what's nice, unlike TCG, unlike PriceCharting, unlike Collector, unlike kind of eBay, you really can't see the card, can you? But don't worry, RamFam will be there. I'm going to show you the condition of the card. We'll talk about the card. We'll have some fun, have a good time. Dollar starts on everything. If you haven't already, make sure you like, subscribe, comment your opinion below. Anthony, this was the worst piece of information I've ever had. You're an idiot. Anthony, you're a genius. And I appreciate you being this guy. Till tomorrow. We'll see you then.